some of y'all might disagree with me on this one, and that's okay. But I wanted to share this. So this is something that Kirsten Gillibrand shared. Now, I'm not a Kirsten Gillibrand fan, but this is a topic I wanted to talk about. Here we go. Start from.
Hi everyone, Henry Gillibrand here. I'm going to try to explain the Democratic debates in 30 seconds or less. Here's how it works. To qualify for the debates in the fall, everyone needs 130,000 people to donate to their campaigns. The deadline to get that done is August 28th, which is coming up really soon. My mom doesn't have 130,000 people yet, so that's where you come in. Everyone who gives an amount even $1 or $5 gets us closer to 130,000. And so you can see my mom on the debate stage, and she can tell you how she's going to be the best president ever.
So here's why I bring this up. I've felt this way for a while now. And I feel this way regardless who the candidate is, even if it's somebody I like. I'm not a fan of Kirsten Gillibrand. I don't think she'd be a good president. But, I'm talking more of a theme here. I am incredibly opposed. I just think it's so wrong when candidates use their children in political advertisements. I think that's so wrong. I think that is, you're putting them in a position that they should not have to be equipped to handle, that I don't think they are equipped to handle in many cases. You're just pushing them into an arena that they do not deserve to be in yet. Now, let me make a few distinctions here, because this is an issue that has a barrier of complexity. So when I say this, I don't mean, say a kid's interested in a cause. That's a good thing. That should be encouraged. Like, say, if, what was the kid's name? Henry or something like that? Yeah, Henry. So, and by the way, and I responded to this, by the way. We can go to that. So here's what I said on Twitter. I do and always have feel that it's a special brand of repulsive when politicians use their children in their advertisements for a number of reasons. This is disgusting. Henry doesn't deserve this. Neither does any other politician's kid. And the reason I feel that way is because, again, this is the political arena they're being pushed into, a campaign of candidates that they're just not equipped to deal with yet. Now, that's a lot different. Say Henry came home from school and he said, "Hey, Mom, I was learning about global warming. I was learning about climate change. I want to write my congressperson. I want to participate in this climate march for people my age. There's the youth action for climate change. I want to participate in that." That's a lot different, because that's a cause. That's like an initiative and a cause. That's not something pertaining to a particular candidate. When it pertains to a particular candidate, it's very caustic and very hostile, and politics has a very ugly underbelly, and we're all aware of this. And you're throwing your child into that when you know about it. I mean, Kirsten Gillibrand, she's been around long enough. She knows how ugly politics is. You're throwing your child into that, and you're forcing them to then deal with that. And they're not equipped or ready to deal with something like that. Now, if they're an adult, that's totally different. That's totally different. If Chelsea Clinton wants to write horrible books with her mom, she's an adult. She's making a conscious decision. So when I say politicians' children, I mean actually children, not their grown children. When they're grown up, they can do whatever they want. They're responsible for their own decisions. But Henry is a kid at this point, and he's being thrown into this. He does not deserve that. Neither does any other politician's kid. Now, some people, they say, well, he wanted to. He's proud of his mom. That's great that he's proud of his mom. He should be. Good for him. But he wanted to. He very well may have. I have no idea if the child was forced into doing this or not. I have no clue. He very well may have wanted to do this. Maybe it was even his idea. I kind of doubt that. I doubt it was his idea, but maybe it was. I have no clue. So if you're a parent, one of your jobs, and it's a big job and it's an important job, and I'm sure it's not always a fun job, but it's your job as a parent nonetheless. One of your jobs is to say no sometimes, is to say, no, you can't do this. I'm sure Henry can't just do whatever the hell he wants whenever he wants to. I'm sure if Henry decides, hey, I'm not going to go to school today, I'm just gonna make an ice cream sundae and watch TV all day. I'm sure they're not. Oh, well, Henry wanted to do this, so I guess we got to let him. I'd imagine that's not the case in Henry's case, and most children. That's not. You don't just let them do whatever the hell they want. So what you do is you say, hey, I appreciate that, and I'm really happy that you're proud of my campaign, but I need you to support me in other ways. That's not something you should do. This is politics is a very ugly game, and I don't want to drag you into it. That's not fair to you. And you might not realize that yet, but trust me on this, it's not fair to you. And you explain that to them. And Henry would probably say, okay. And someday, Henry might run for office on his own. Maybe he will. And I bet you, if and when Henry runs for office someday, in the hypothetical I just described, which obviously did not happen, Kirsten Gillibrand was happy to use her own kid to pander for money. But in the hypothetical that would have happened, I bet you, if any politician's kid said, hey, I want to do this, and the politician said, you know what, that's not the right thing to do. I appreciate that, but you got to help in other ways. You help by being a good kid. That's how you help. You help by being good company. You help by doing your homework. You help by getting good grades, whatever. You help by being a good kid. That's how you're helping me. But no, I'm not gonna put you in a commercial. That's not right. I bet you, if that kid ran for office one day and they went through that experience, they would say, man, when I was a kid, I didn't understand why my mom or dad said, no, you can't be in a commercial for my campaign. Why you can't be in a political advertisement. I didn't understand why they told me no for that. But I get it now. I bet you that would be the response, because they would see how caustic and ugly these things are. And they would say, yeah, a child shouldn't have to be exposed to that at such a young age. That shouldn't happen. So I think that's wrong. No matter who the politician is, I think that's wrong on every level. I think it's disgusting, and especially in our modern technological day and age, where people say whatever. And if you think people on the internet are going to express restraint just because it's a child, you don't spend enough time on the internet. Or actually, you probably spend more than enough time on the internet, but you're not seeing everything that's there. And some people told me, some people on the Twitter thread said I was overreacting, that was an overreaction on my part. This generation of kids, there are suicides on a regular basis as a result of cyberbullying. And you're putting a kid into a presidential campaign and opening him up for the type of trolling that I'm sure he has already gotten. I'm the one overreacting. That's an overreaction. Saying that something like that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't. And, I don't want to say I know Kirsten Gillibrand's intentions. I don't. But this was, at the very least, super negligent, irresponsible parenting. And at the very most, it's selfish and cruel to use your own child to pander for donations. It's selfish and cruel. At most. Because you're running for president. You should know better. You should know what you're doing by dragging a child into something like this. And if you don't know better, well, at the very least, you're being irresponsible. At the very least. So, Kirsten Gillibrand, still not a fan. Still not a fan. And let me know what you guys think when I go to the chat. I bet some of you might disagree with me on that one. Some of you might think, no, I think it's totally cool to use your kid to pander for money. Let me know your thoughts. I'm curious to know them.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news News On with Ron. Don't you wanna know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make